It's February, and that can only mean two things in St. Louis, Mardi Gras and Valentine's Day. And we already know how you spend Mardi Gras, so Real Life STL hit the streets of the MX District today to find out how you spend Valentine's Day. How do you feel about flowers?
I think they suck.
In for flowers.
Flowers are a must.
Ooh, that's really cool.
Good?
Yeah, it's really good.
Already got them sent.
Alice.
Absolutely in.
How do you feel about plush teddy bears?
Soft.
In 6th grade, phenomenal.
Pretty lame.
Depends on the person.
Out for me.
1980s.
In or out?
In. That's the day I can eat a lot of chocolates and not feel guilty.
Can't go wrong.
I think every girl loves chocolate.
Chocolate goes with everything.
Cotton candy, not chocolate.
Yeah, preferred cotton candy for sure.
Depending on the weight of the person you're giving it to, if they're heavier set, you don't want to give them chocolates. In for everybody.
Heart-shaped jewelry.
I'm not gonna marry. I would say out. It seems a little cliche and cheesy.
Not necessarily a huge fan.
It's a little cheesy if you get it on Valentine's Day.
It's kind of tacky, but I mean, that's just me.
Cheesy.
How about matching a tattoo?
I would definitely say out.
I think that's the worst.
No.
No.
No, you should never do that.
No, that's just
Awful. No.
Unless you are in a 50 years already committed, kids, stretch marks, the whole thing. Other than that, nope.
How do you feel about people getting engaged on Valentine's Day?
Wow. I would say out for me at the moment.
I think it's something that, too generic, too expected.
Kind of expected, I think.
if you're a girl like me that's been waiting for a long time, you kind of expect it.
I think everybody does, so I think that's not really unique.
No.
What was your absolute worst Valentine's Day gift?
Probably a happy V-Day text message.
Nothing, right?
Nothing.
Nothing's the worst.
Not getting one. Nothing.
What is your favorite thing to do on Valentine's Day?
Probably stay at home and cook dinner for each other. Just hang out.
I like to cook a really nice meal, romantic meal, nice wine, build a fire.
We'll figure it out as we go. It's going to be more fun.
And also something romantic, something you don't do just every Friday night, something unique.
Me and my girlfriends are throwing a unpaid Valentine's party. Where we probably go to a local restaurant to drink a lot and first men.
Just sit around in my boxers and watch that 70s show.
2 lessons learned today. Number 1, anything is better than nothing, even if it's just spending quality time at home with your loved ones. And lesson 2, plush teddy bears are out.